Hey, how you guys doing? If you're new to the channel, my name is Antonio and this is Whiskey Quest. In this channel I'm going to review whiskeys from all over the world. I like to add a touch of water to each one of them just to see if it changes. You'll never know unless you try it. If that's something you'd like to watch, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification so you can stick around for more videos. Let's move on with this review. So before we start, I want to give a quick shout out to Virgie Love from These Are Spirit Fingers on Instagram. She was nice enough to donate this bottle to the channel for me to give a try and review for you guys and see what I think about it. And while you're at it, why don't you guys check out JP Weisers on Instagram also. And I'm over here giving everybody shout outs on Instagram. If you haven't checked out my Instagram account, check it out on Whiskey Quest. Here's the link to that. I'm always talking about not judging a bottle by its price. You guys want to stick to the end to my final thoughts and find out what I think about this whiskey right here. JP Weisers Deluxe is a blended Canadian whiskey. It's bottled at 40% ABV, that's 80 proof. And it'll cost you around $15 or so. JP stands for John Philip Weiser, which introduced this for the very first time at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. By the early 1900s, his whiskey was being exported all over the world and it became the #3 biggest distillery in Canada. So one of the requirements to be called the Canadian whiskey is to be aged for a minimum of 3 years in wood barrels. So unlike many other whiskeys where there's a mash bill of like corn, rye, and malted barley all distilled together and aged, Canadian whiskey for the most part is done separately. So you have like corn whiskey, and then you got like your rye and your malted barley. You get the idea. They're all distilled separately, aged separately, and then the messer blender comes into play and he makes sure that everything gets blended together so it has that same flavor profile throughout the years and bottle to bottle. So let's move on to the nosing and tasting of this review, but really quick, let's take a quick look at the color. Canadian whiskey are allowed to add a little bit of coloring. I'm sure this one has something added to it, but just for training purposes, I'd say this has like a nice light golden kind of color going on. All right, on the nose, first thing that comes to mind is like wax. It's hard to explain, but it reminds me of these little Coca-Cola shaped bottles that we used to buy as kids, and it had like Coca-Cola candy inside, and you chew it and extract that candy. That's what it's reminding me of when I was like chewing on that wax and it kind of goes through your nasal passage. It just reminds me of that for some reason. Next thing I get is citrus, more of a grapefruit, which is also a first for me. Then I also get some caramel and some oak trying to come through, but that wax and grapefruit, it's really taking over all those other notes that are trying to come through. Let's move on to the taste. Cheers. Alright, unlike the nose, there is a little bit more sweetness coming through on the palate, but right up front, the first thing I get is that I don't know if it's a little bit of heat, like a hot cinnamon. There's also a lot of wood char going on, or that could be more translated into like a burnt sugar. The mouthfeel on this is pretty watery. It's not, you know, something that's gonna stick to your palate, but short finish. Those flavors that came on just show up and disappear right away. So let's add a little bit of water and see what happens. I'm pretty sure this is gonna get a really light, maybe just not taste anything anymore, but you never know. Let's give it a try and see what happens. I'll be right back. Okay, with a little bit of water added, just one drop, that grapefruit that I was getting at first, it's now reminding me of like a lemon rind. A lot more caramel is coming through this time. Not as much, but it still is showing up a little bit more. And that oak. That oak it's more like a hay note this time. So lemon rind, caramel, and hay. Hay is also something that I haven't gotten as far as I can remember. Alright, let's move on to the taste and see what happens. Cheers. Alright, a lot more sweetness came through. I get that char again, a lot less heat going on. You still get that burnt sugary note. There's a slight bitterness towards the end, but not in a bad way. It's just a little bit bitter. Nothing that's turning me off, but That mouthfeel is still watery, still short. Flavors do linger just a little bit more than before, but they still fade away kind of quickly. And it does leave my mouth kind of dry, but not too bad. Not something that's gonna like make you reach out and drink some water. So my final thoughts on the J.P. Weiser's whiskey here. For $15, this is more of a mixer, not a sipper, that's for sure. Even though it doesn't have horrible flavors, the one thing that's just turning me away from this is that grapefruit that I get. I'm not a big fan of grapefruit, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't mind sipping this from time to time. But if you're still curious and you want to pick this up for maybe mixing some drinks at a party, I'd say give it a try neat before you start mixing and see if it suits your palate. Maybe it's perfect for you, and then you'll have yourself a nice cheap whiskey that you can either mix or sip on whenever you want. So that's it for the review, guys. If you found the information in this video useful, go ahead and give me a like, share it with your friends. Don't forget to drop me a comment below. Have you tried this, or maybe some of the other J.P. Weiser products that I should give a try? Let me know in the comments below. And again, if you haven't subscribed and you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button before you leave so you can stick around for more videos. Don't forget to hit that bell notification. It'll alert you when I post new videos or maybe go live. Alright guys, cheers. See you guys on the next video. Bye.